Alrighty guys, what is going on? And I want to make a quick update here on the yard. So today is the 7th of September. We made an update on the 7th of August. So it's been a good month. A lot's happened in this month. I've driven over 1,000 miles. Lots of areas and lots happened around the yard. Dogs have been going crazy. Like I said, I haven't had much projects to film, but look at this. I've been doing yard work every week as typical, and the daylilies. Let's start here. The daylilies. Look at all the scapes. That's amazing. I'm gonna maybe possibly either cut these back or leave them until spring this year and see just how nice it might look through the winter if we can keep the scapes going. You know, the snow and stuff and the dogs might screw them up, but yeah, I'm liking that look, especially with these ones. These daylily scapes, they look kind of nice. And look at that one. So we weren't even here this year during their flowering phase, really. I think maybe in August when I recorded, I did get some of the flowers, but that was right after we got back from our trip. So like I said, yeah, this is really nice. I like that look. We're gonna see if we can keep that for winter interest. Now these junipers have put on growth. They have. They're gonna need a little prune, especially over here. I'm gonna prune these in the spring when I do the spring pruning of the yard. I'm probably not, there's a lot of wasps and I'm allergic to them, so I'm gonna be quick here. As you can see, that's growing into the side there. I wanna keep these a little more round in this area. Over here, these ones, they're not an issue. They barely have grown too much, so I'm gonna leave them alone. I ain't gonna go shear them with the pruner or anything crazy. Let's give them a little cleanup. But overall, they're doing real great. So that one you can see is protruding under the sidewalk a good little bit. Now, let's go these three, or let's talk about this one since we're talking about them. This one here, I'm going more of a wild thing to it. It's getting a little crazy though. Like I don't like how these are protruding into the yard extremely and you're rubbing them with the mower and stuff. So I'm gonna clean it up, but not very much. If anything, I might even leave it another season. Take that one limb off maybe. I like how it's going a little crazy there. It fits the area. So anyway, we'll go over here. It's so hot, guys. My rock collection. So again, we went out to a lot of places and I'm putting rocks here. So I kind of like that. It fits real nice with the area there. But this here now, this is where we dug the sprinkler system up. And again, if we check this again, it is spiders in there, but it's dry. So there's no leaking water from the system. The system's going off and our grass is amazing back here. Like I said, so. But here's this bush suffered damage, but hey, it did start growing again off the few limbs that was there. Compared to those two, it's a lot different, but we thought we kind of had to dig it up. So, I mean, at least it's doing something. Like I said, tons of weeds are here because this dirt, and I think that's why it's recovered, it's very lush dirt from over there in that field. So it's very, very healthy and it houses lots of weeds when we took it over. So they obviously grew in the area. So many that if I pull, I just weeded them down and we'll call it good there. But yeah, it's a nice area. I love the new rock and stuff in this area. So once I prune these bushes, there's going to be a little area where probably the new rock didn't spread. Like I said, that rock is mixed in with the old. So over time, like you can already see, it's going to kind of mix in. Either way, this one here, look at that. The dogs destroyed these this year, running back and forth, but they still put on a show. These spirea. Look at that. That's the flower on that. There's not many left, not many flowers at this time of season left, but man, are they something. So there's that one. You can see over here, this one now, it still looks a little bit hollow inside. That's from that hail we got. That hail really put an end to the season, honestly, which is a real bummer. Stuff responded so well this season, and that hailstorm just kind of whacked them out. But it is recovering, and the dogwoods have almost made a full recovery with the new pushed growth. But these have smaller leaves. A little harder for them to recover as fast. Like I said, these were cut to the ground. We went crazy on it. We're going to go crazy on it next year. We're going to keep these things to the ground. So that's this area, the windmill planter. All three bushes are here in some form. Amazing area. Over here now, these are the sedums. I hope I've never mixed up spirea and sedums. If I do, these are the sedums, those are the spirea. But the center bush here, look at that. That bush is amazing. It's made an amazing recovery. Although I do see a possibility of either something happening with this area. See, it looks a little different than the rest. I'm just gonna chunk out of it as it goes. If it starts to die, if it's dead by next spring, it's gone. I'm just gonna keep the green. It seems to be pulling forward more than it's going back. So we're gonna just keep this one flowing. It's made a severe recovery. Amazing recovery there. 1 second, guys. And so this large bush, like I said, made a huge recovery, and it's even got branches coming out from down there. Now, these sedum, they are starting to actually have a little color. I need, like I said, I didn't do that in August. I need to do it now. Look back at last year's video to see just, you can see the pollinators are really loving it now. Just see the color. I think we might be a little bit later in the color change. I'm not sure, but you can see we're at that stage right now when we've just got that blissful, amazing color. It's like a light pink across all the branches, and it's, you know, this is the biggest one on the plant. I've been watching it all year, and it's just an amazing color at this stage. It's one of my favorite parts of the plant. It's like a baby pink, kind of this light pink. You can see it's apparent through the whole plant there. It's just something about that color there. It's just gets you. This one here is a little earlier in the stage. You can see the tops look a little more green. That's in the earlier stage, with some of them pretty green and then some of them turning pink. So that one, it's like a little less sun though, a little more sheltered area. So this one here is maturing faster, and we'll keep watching this one closer now as we progress into the season. I want to go over here and talk about, we talked about this one. So these Potentillas, look at that one. It just did amazing this year, and I thought these were dead. So it did really good. You can see there's pollinators on that, lots of flowers on that. And then this one over here, it's getting a little stressed, I think, on one of the sides. It's getting old, but it's still put on a show. It still looks really nice this year. Look at all them pink flowers, yellow flowers. And this one, yeah, it's at the very high end of the stress level range. I did cut it all the way back. I posted that video back in October, I think 2023, maybe 2024. But what I find funny about it is that I actually don't mind it. It still gets some pink flowers in the area, so it's something there. Kind of funny. It is performing in flowers just like the other ones, just on a smaller basis. It did grow. We're gonna leave it alone and just let it do its thing, I guess. So then the two dogwoods here, they're not even as invisible as they were before in that video I filmed way back in August 7th, a month ago. They're a lot more kind of covered again because the top growth has filled in that hollow inside from the hail we got. You can see it's actually shrouding the fountain over now, so they're getting pretty large. They'll need to clean up. I don't really want to prune them down again since I just cleaned them, but I do want to give them a clean up around the fountain for next season. We'll try and keep some height on them, see if they flower. And then this big one over here, obviously, look at that. It's amazing. It's made a pretty nice recovery on those stems, so if you take a look, there's the two dogwoods. And then we got the Mughal pines. Obviously, they took some hail damage as well with some snapped off needles there, but those will kind of fall off naturally and they'll be all right there. But this one is gaining a little height to it, so it's kind of nice. I want it to fill in this area, so I'm liking how that one's kind of coming. This one I don't want to go too close to because it's wasp, but it's that tight, compact looking pine, and it's definitely a couple weeds I gotta get out of there. And it's definitely a nice one as well. So they've both got their unique shape. And so we've covered the backyard. Let's take a... Alrighty, and over here now, you can see we've got this one. These have done so well, and they've filled in great after the hailstorm within this month. So you can't see through it now, and it's my phone's overheating, but yeah, this is that corner one. Looks really nice there. And these have done great this year. You see a little dieback in there still, I think hail damage, but overall, they just look amazing. They've grown a lot more this year. These, again, by the gate here, huge. I cut these all the way back to the ground this season, so I mean, we're on ground level there, and this is all new growth instead of that crazy growth of last year. I am so impressed with the April pruning I did on these. Go check out that video, recorded in April. But even this one here was half rotted inside, and it's done so much more well after. This one a couple years ago, I don't think I filmed it, but I took the front of it out because it was dead. So, yeah, it looks a lot nicer now. And then over here in this corner, this plant looks amazing, but it's got an issue. And there's two problems and reasons why these branches are drooping. So issue number one is the dogs are in and out of here chasing the neighbor's dog. See the grass damage and then the rocks, how they're away from that thing there. So that does it. And then I just learned that the whole summer this has been spraying, so it's weighing down these branches. So it's had a plethora of issues there. It's not on the plant, it's on its environment. So, but either way, ooh, I thought I was checking on the dog. Either way, it looks amazing as well because you don't really see that. And then obviously these here are, they put on a good amount of growth, and they'll be pruned again in 2026. So the end of 2026 is when we'll get these sheared again. And then over here, like I said, this area's been covered because the dogs, they kind of get in there. So if we take a look, these I did a pruning on. I don't think I filmed it, but they look a lot nicer, and I kind of got to see the structure. I want these to turn back into plants again, and that one's on track, just like how it used to look. So we gotta keep it going, and that's why I got this fence covering it so the dogs can't get in there and ruin it, because it's so weak of a plant. See, it's got a lot of stems at the base there, and I've thinned it like crazy, and it's all these seem to be standing. This one here I could turn into like a tree form type thing is what I'm thinking. So that's what I'm kind of wanting to do with that. But these seem to be holding their own weight, so we'll see kind of how these go next season. And if they get taller and bigger, I'll just take the fence down and we'll get this area going again. So yeah, anyway, that's the area. Like I said, I'm going to try, main things I want to do is obviously the sedums are getting cut back, but I'd like to leave the scapes of the daylilies. We'll see how that's going. Like I said, the dogs have not been destroying them, because when they're tall like that, they don't really want to jump over them. They don't think they can. So, but sometimes you'll see him, the poodle, jump over him, but overall I think it'll be all right. So anyway, we'll see you guys in the next update, probably maybe the end of this month, depending on how the weather goes. We're supposed to cool off here, but right now it's hot and smoky. So we'll see how the weather kind of goes here, and I'll update you guys in the process. We do have a project I might try and do tonight. So yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.